All the trading today is going to take place without real knowledge of what President Trump's tariff plans will be. We're going to get that news, but not until 4 p.m. Eastern. Megan Casella's here to give us the latest in terms of what we're hearing and what we may expect. Megan.
Hey, David, a very big day here at the White House. You were hearing staffers wish each other a happy Liberation Day, and we were just watching some American flags being set up in the Rose Garden, where we will finally get those details, as you said, at 4 p.m. today. But we are not likely to get any firm details until then. What we know for now is that at that ceremony, all of the tariffs that will be announced are set to be effective immediately, kicking into effect potentially at midnight tonight. They'll start getting collected sometime tomorrow. We also know that the Treasury Secretary told lawmakers on Capitol Hill yesterday that he believes all of these tariffs are going to be a cap, meaning this is the highest they will ever go. They can only be negotiated lower from here. I will caution the White House did not confirm this one to me, and there's a lot of skepticism that President Trump would not retaliate or respond to retaliation, I should say, from other countries. So yet to be determined on that, but that is at least the message at this point from the Treasury Secretary. What we don't know, though, is exactly what we're going to get at 4 p.m., and I continue to be told that meetings are ongoing. They are still hashing out these details and that there are a number of options still on the table. One of them that's been widely reported in the last few hours, starting late last night, is that they're looking at potentially a lower blanket tariff, somewhere below 20% on a smaller subset of countries. But I have been cautioned that that is not set in stone and not to count on that as the most likely option. There's also the idea of a blanket tariff of up to 20% across the board on nearly all imports. But I've also been told that that seems like a less likely option as well. This is from White House officials that I'm hearing this. The other two options remaining on the board are some sort of a tiered tariff rate by countries falling into some individual buckets, or that initial idea of a customized country-by-country tariff rate. So again, that's what we're waiting for at 4 p.m. I can also tell you one other thing that's under discussion is whether to revoke that de minimis trade status for China specifically. Trump tried to do this back in February. It's been on pause for some administrative issues since then, but they are actively discussing whether starting tonight they might revoke that loophole for China. That would have implications for companies like Shein and Temu, as well as some small businesses as well. So another thing that we might hear today. And then just finally, guys, I think we have a graphic that we can pull up on this. Is I just want to emphasize how many things will be taking effect tonight and tomorrow, starting with those reciprocal tariffs that are yet to be named. But the auto tariffs will also be kicking into effect. Those secondary tariffs against buyers of Venezuelan oil will be taking effect. And the pause on Mexican and Canadian fentanyl tariffs, that's also set to expire. So we expect those tariffs to be kicking back in as well. Again, that's something we could hear from the president on this, but a lot to watch and a lot of impact coming just in the next 24 hours. Guys?
I mean, my biggest question is, are they going to be negotiable? Are they going to bring Europe and China and others to the table to lower their tariff barriers in order to bring these tariff rates down? Or is this just permanent? We want to collect revenues and this is the way we're going.
It's a huge question because we do hear the administration sometimes say both, that they both think this is a revenue raiser, but they also think of this as a negotiating tool. And it's hard to know how it can be both at the same time. But it's interesting that you raised this now, Sarah, because the press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, was asked about this at the White House briefing yesterday. And she said the president is always open to a phone call. He's always willing to hear from trading partners and from foreign nations on this. But she also was not committing. She was being asked specifically as to whether if some countries are willing now to offer to lower some of their tariffs or some of their non-tariff barriers, whether that would mean they would be met with a more lenient tariff. She did not commit to saying yes on that. She said he'll take the call, but what the president wants to do here is to fix all these trade policy issues that he thinks have been in place for decades. He wants to fix all of these issues on the past, from the past, for the American people. And so that does not necessarily mean that even if you cut all your tariffs now, you would see a lower tariff being announced later today.
Megan, just real quick to come back to Canada and Mexico so we can, because it's hard to, there are two largest trading partners. I know Mexico's number one, but they were exempted, right, from most of the tariffs because of what was exempted under the USMCA. But that's what's going away. Is that correct?
That's exactly right. USMCA compliant goods had this 1 month temporary pause. President Trump said he did that to help out the auto dealers. It was always, he said, set to expire today. The expiration isn't written into law, so we don't know yet whether or not those tariffs will kick back into effect tomorrow. I'm told it looks likely that they will as scheduled, but we will have to wait and see, and we expect that the president will say something about that later today as well.
A lot of questions. I hope we get some answers. Thank you very much, Megan Casella, for bringing us the latest on what we can expect.